Hey, so how's your cheesecake come out? We're getting ready to do some toppings right now. And I realized I'm a little short on some things I thought I had in the bag. Literally thought I had them in the bag. But hold on. Alright, so here's what happened. I thought I was making turtles, but I honestly do not feel like making a chocolate ganache. I think I'm gonna just cop out and do a caramel sauce, which I didn't have either, so I had to make one. I'm making one right now, as a matter of fact. My sugar's almost ready. Almost. It's thick. It's not thick enough. When it gets super foamy and thick, like spit when you're thirsty, that's disgusting. I'm sorry. Anyway, it's almost ready. So then, I got my stations going over here. Oh, I need this brown sugar on that side and that side. I need some flour. Just a little bit. Alright, let me tell you what I'm going to do. Here's my stations. This is my lemon curd station. I'm gonna eventually, when my caramel is cooked and I'm letting it cool off some, I'm gonna start zesting these lemons after I wash them, of course. I'm gonna zest these lemons with that sucker right there. Put the egg, the sugar, and the butter in there, and boom. I'm gonna cook that up. And it's gonna be my lemon zest. I'm gonna take my lemon curd. I'm gonna put some lemon juice because I like it super tangy. I might have to cheat and get the bottle of reconstituted lemon juice because I like it extra tangy. Here we go. I got my caramel sauce on the cooking right now. Oh, it's turning brown and it's getting thick. Get in there. Okay. We almost ready for the butter to go in. But all right, let me get quick. So I need to get some flour to add to these things and some cinnamon so I can make a crumble topping for the, well, you don't see here, the peaches. I'm gonna spice them peaches up with that. I'm gonna cook them in a little bit of butter and make it like a peach cobbler situation. Hold up, we're gonna do it together. I'm gonna show you. Watch. First thing we're gonna do is get this butter in here with this hot molten lava sugar for this caramel sauce. I made this at least twice before on these videos, but I'm gonna let you see it again in context with the cheesecake. Let's get it in there. Get it in there. Not too fast. We don't want to cool the sugar down. We just want to melt the butter into it. That thing gonna be good. Alright. The butter and the sugar gonna get together and make a nice kind of dark brown situation. Get in there. It's hot. It's making my eyebrows sweat. They not blending like I want. Come on, butter. Alright, here we go. It's gonna get nice and thick and foamy like, and then it's gonna turn to the right color brown. And then I'm gonna add some salt, some vanilla, and some heavy cream. I didn't want this to be a long video, but you need to know how to do these things with me, so let's get it. We're gonna make our toppings together. Why not? We are one. Now watch how fast this turns from, oh, not quite, to, ooh, hurry up and get it off the heat. Let me move this out here so I can have somewhere to put it. You can smell that burnt sugar smell. Not burnt, but you see the color. It's not burnt, but it has to go to the point where it's like scorched, singed, torched, whatever you want to call it, before it turns super dark. But you can smell that it's in the place it needs to be. Turn that heat off. Alright, first thing I'm going to add. Now, listen here. When you do this, don't think you grown. You need the long handle whisk, first of all, because that steam ain't no joke. And then you add this, it's going to spit. How much vanilla? A couple of, I don't know, a couple of drops. But more than a couple of drops. You saw what I did, right? How do you measure that? It's not a teaspoon, but here we go. That right there. And then I'm going to I like my caramel to be salted. So I'm going to add a nice little sprinkle of the salt. Because actually, it gives it character when it's like that. You see how fast this happened though. But I'm sweating like a pig. Let me hurry up. And then I'll add Let me see. Do I know? I'm gonna add something like a quarter cup of heavy cream. I'm gonna try, because I need this to be a caramel sauce that's loose and not yeah, that's hot. Spitting hot. I need it to be pourable, not just thick and spoon worthy where you can eat it like candy. I need it to be thinner. It's gonna thicken up as it cools, so I need more heavy cream. So that's, I guess, about a half a cup of heavy cream altogether. But you'll feel it, like when you stir it, you'll feel whether your whisk is meeting resistance or if it's just going right through. It's slightly thickened so it could be syrupy, and it's the right color. Look at that. It's gonna get a tiny bit darker and a lot thicker when it cools. But that's what you want right there. Don't taste it. Don't you dare. It's like 300 degrees. Don't you taste it. This is what I want you to do. I want you to take your whisk, and you see how your whisk is getting like a coating. It's getting thick like candy on there. I want you to wait a few minutes till that's cooled off, and then you can taste some of that part. But don't you taste this in here. You're gonna lose your taste buds for a week. I promise you. You don't want it. Just as I suspected, it tastes amazing. And you're gonna see a bunch of caramel recipes online, and some of them are going to tell you, well, if I had a gas range, I wouldn't have added water to my sugar. I would just put the sugar on there in the pan and let that melt and burn. I'm gonna keep saying burn because it's a specific flavor you have to get when you let it get to that temperature. It's like burning it, but it doesn't taste burnt, if that makes any sense. It's just, trust me and do what I just did. Go on there with your hot sugar till it gets nice and thick, and it might turn brown on you even on the electric range. Fine, but let the butter and the sugar come together and make a nice light brown color, not yellow, but light brown. Then you can start moving it over and add your vanilla and your salt and your heavy cream. But even if it's not dark enough when you add the heavy cream, you think it's too light skin, put it back on the heat and keep stirring it. But don't let it sit there and get this color on its own before you add the other things. Let it be a little bit lighter than this, and it'll come up to this as it cools. All right. What did I use? I used about 3 cups of sugar for this batch. About 3 cups of white granulated sugar. I used, let me flip the camera. 3 cups of sugar. I added like a half cup of water to get the sugar to dissolve faster. Then I got it heated and melted and all that. And then I added a whole stick of butter. And then I added a couple of splashes of vanilla and a couple of sprinkles of salt. How you measure that? Just do what I did, okay? And then after I stirred that up, I added about a half a cup of heavy cream, and I got it to the color I wanted. If it was lighter, I would have put it back on the heat and kept it going. But it's perfect. So then you just let that sit and cool. Notice I didn't add anything that looks like corn syrup. I ain't with the extras. I don't know why people. Yes, I do. I know that it gives it a more smooth and taffy-like texture. Like if you were gonna make sugar babies, sugar daddies, or whatever, you could get that pull if you added some corn syrup in here. I ain't a fan though. I'm not. I got what I needed. Got my sauce. If I wanted a thicker situation like candy, I would have just added less heavy cream, and I would have had that. But I would have had one big pot of a sugar daddy because I wouldn't be able to separate it. So maybe that corn syrup ain't a bad idea for that. I ain't making candy though, so not today. Alright, I'm gonna do my peaches next. My caramel needs to hang out right there, and it's not gonna get crusty while I sit it here. It's just gonna cool off because I don't know, it's just the way we did it. It worked out just right. We don't have to worry about getting those little crusty sugar granule tops. Sometimes your caramel will get crusty on top when you don't have enough fat or liquid in there with the sugar. It's just mostly sugar. All right, we're moving on to our peaches. I put the butter in the pan. I got the peaches going on. They're going to slowly thaw out and separate. I usually toss them in a bowl with the seasonings and let them sit out for a little bit, but kind of want them, do it right now. See, look at that. Take a couple of seconds and some warm butter. A low temperature is gonna be great. I added a sprinkle of ginger. I don't know if you know this, but peaches and ginger go great together. It's a tiny bit of clove, and I mean a tiny bit. You hear me? It's very strong. It smells very lovely though. But yeah, you never had peach juice? Get you some Simply Peach and add a ginger ale to that. And I'm trying to tell you, you ain't never gonna change from drinking that. You can drink it in the summer, you can drink it in the winter. But that thing is so lovely, refreshing. It's just beautiful. Oh, I wish you could smell these cloves and ginger right now. Oh my God. Jeez, let me hurry up. All right, I gotta get my cinnamon in there. I'm not gonna do nutmeg. I'm not really a nutmeg fan. I know people use it a lot for everything. We can use more cinnamon than we do the others. But yeah, most people use nutmeg and stuff, and I've never really felt like I had a need for nutmeg. You know what I'm saying? I know it enhances things. I've used it in many baked goods, especially my ginger snap cupcakes. I put a lot of spices in the ginger snaps because it's ginger snaps. Come on, they're supposed to be a little, zingy and bang bang in your mouth, right? But anyway, I never really thought nutmeg was a necessity, so I don't get with it too often. I need to get my brown sugar. Hold it. All right, it's peaches, so not too much. Maybe like a couple of tablespoons. Yeah, about a couple of tablespoons. I'm not gonna cornstarch it because I think this syrup's gonna be thick enough on its own. But we'll see when the peaches start loosening up. Might have to toss some cornstarch around in here. But yeah, just child. Let me tell you, these peaches smell so lovely. And when they all the way thawed out and they start releasing the peach juice, good God. Imagine the syrup that's gonna be on top of that cheesecake. What? What did I miss? Did I miss anything? Oh, a teeny tiny bit of salt. Because I already told y'all, salt is necessary. It helps your tongue identify all the flavors and the things. Without salt, it'll just be like, what am I looking at here? What am I tasting? Just a tiny bit because of how many peaches I have. It's not many. Less than a pinch and a sprinkle. Less than that. Just enough to get into the syrup and make everybody say, hey, I'm here. That's what salt does. It lets you know who's at the party. It's not the enemy unless you use it wrong. Like most things. Don't be going around using stuff in a way that is not approved or recommended. And then you won't have so many problems. What am I doing? I'm supposed to be making toppings. Okay, I'm gonna hush and get this. Let these sit here for a second in this loveliness. Look at that. Now, I usually use frozen peaches. I started to say that. Did I say that? But if peaches are in season, you can use fresh peaches if you feel like peeling them and slicing them up and everything. But don't add sugar because that is oh God. Fresh peaches, the sweetness in there is incredible. But something happens when they freeze and they lose a little bit of their joy. So I have to add a little bit of sugar to the frozen fruits, no matter what I'm making. But yeah, I recommend using frozen so you can control everything and start from almost the bottom and build it up. If you use fresh, first you gotta taste it, then you gotta figure out, it's just whatever you choose, okay? Yeah, I'm gonna let them love on each other a little bit more because they still need some time, but I don't want them to get too soft. Let's put this guy in the middle. It's nice and thick. And the rest of these. Okay, here we go. So, alright, now once your peaches have all thawed out completely and they've given up the juices, you want to taste your syrup. I think these are pretty much there. They smell like that lovely cobbler smell with the warm butter and the brown sugar sweetness. You can smell it. It's just, ooh, child. So yeah, once you get to this point, you want to taste a tiny bit of the syrup. Yep, I'm gonna use a butter knife because why not? Very good. But here's the thing. I taste. I'm gonna turn the fire off. I taste the brown sugar and all the spices. But what I want is for this one to be a little more balanced. So it's very brown sugar like. It's very deep in flavor. I'm gonna add a little bit of white sugar for brightness. It just, trust me. And when I say a little bit, I mean like less than a teaspoon. Just brighten that up, because that molasses is very present from the brown sugar. I turned the heat off. I'm gonna stir this around, make it just a different kind of sweetness going on with the granulated sugar added. I want the life to come back into the peaches. You know what I'm saying? Peaches are very, very bright and sweet. When you eat it, you know it's sweet. You know, I've been thinking about this for a while, but like most fruits are bitter when you taste them. Not bitter, they're like tart. Have you ever bite into a strawberry? You say, ooh, strawberry, but the first thing you taste is tartness. You bite into an orange, you're gonna get an acidity and a bunch of stuff, but you're not gonna taste sweet first. You eat pineapple, you're gonna taste tart first, but you know sweetness is in there, and you even text me and interrupts my video. So anyway, you know, yeah, it's like in the front, when you first eat it, the front of your tongue says, ooh, and then when you get it in there in the back and the middle goes, oh, that's sweet, that's nice, we like that. Peaches, when you first bite peaches, they're automatically like, ooh, baby, that's sweet. You know what I'm saying? Try it. Just think about it next time. Plums, always gonna be, ooh, tart, like lemon. Always tart. But yeah, most fruits you eat are not sweet first, they're tart first. So anyway, the peaches, I want them to be like, ooh, sweet, you know, immediately. So I want to hit it with the white sugar to bring it up to that level. And the richness of the brown sugar is going to balance it out around it, make it nice and, you know, earthy and warm with that cheesecake and that buttery crust we made. And then this crumble is going to make it a nice fall dessert. What's in the crumble? What is a crumble? It's a streusel, actually. How do I explain it? It's like, you got to see it. Hold on. All right, so I'm working on my crumble. Hold up. I put a 1/4 cup of flour, 1/4 cup of brown sugar. I'm gonna sprinkle my cinnamon. It's gonna be like a crumb topping. I want y'all to see me do the salt and everything I make, so you know I ain't, you know, playing around. Just a nice little bit of salt in that. And I'm gonna take a 1/4 cup of oats. Probably need, no, I'm gonna do 1/2 cup of oats. Where's my 1/2 cup? Oats, like, yeah, Quaker oats right here. Quick, oats. All right, I had to use my hand to pick up the oats. But yeah, we're gonna mix this around in here. Do I want another spice? No, I'm gonna just stick with cinnamon on this one. And then I'm gonna drizzle in some butter and make it into a nice crumble. Hold on. All right, that was about a 1/2 stick of butter. And you see how it's turning into these little balls of loveliness. I'm gonna separate these a little bit. Stir some. So usually what I do with this is I set it in the refrigerator for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then when I'm ready to make my apple cheesecakes with the crumb topping and the caramel drizzle, I dice the apples and put them on top of that cheesecake before it bakes. I take the cheesecake batter, I dice some apples, put them on top, and then I put this on top of the apples and I bake it all together. And then once it cools off, I drizzle caramel over top of that whole thing. What did I just say? I said, Lord, help us. That's what I just said. But I'm gonna put this in my little skillet on the stove right now because I want to get that raw flour and that raw oats taste out of there and make it a toasted crumble. So let's get it. I just wanted to show you my caramel real quick, but this is what happens as it cools. It gets like, you see it's a little stretchy and it's kind of thick, but I can still take my my whisk and I can pick it up and it'll be nice, thick, drizzly on top of my desserts. It's gonna cool down some more though. Look at that stretch. It's like skin. But yeah, it's still goodness in there. Hold tight. For this little streusel situation, if you had the oven on already and it was already, you know, cranked up and everything, I would say put this in a small pie pan or baking pan of some kind and stick it in the oven for 10 minutes and let it get toasted that way instead of standing here like me waiting for paint to dry. Cause but I just couldn't imagine turning the oven on at this point. It's just not gonna happen. So I'll wait. Alright, it's getting toasty. It smells amazing. And just for the record, I can't talk for the record. If you were to put this in the oven on a flat cookie sheet type tray, multiply the recipe a couple of times, make it a little bit more. If you were to multiply this and put it on a cookie sheet, stick it in the oven for a little bit to get toasty, and then take it out and immediately drizzle some honey over top of it, and then cut it into some squares or some rectangles, you have made yourself a lovely granola. You still could call this a granola actually, but honey sounds so much better, right? Yeah, get it. Alright, we're on to the lemon zesting situation. So far I've zested 2.5 lemons. I left some on this one. I think that's plenty. I found I only have 2 eggs, so I'm gonna just make a small portion instead of what I usually would make with 4 egg yolks and this and that. I'm gonna use a whole egg, yep. But yeah, that's enough zest. The lemon zest, I took this little grater situation. Each lemon, take the yellow, leave the white, and now I'm gonna roll these lemons around and get all the juice out of them. Look at this, I love this gadget. Get in there. Alright, so I thought about it. I decided I would only do 2.5 of the lemons. Now I'm mixing all these things together. I'm gonna tell you what they are, but I'm gonna keep stirring them while they thicken. I'm gonna turn my fire to the right setting. Come on for it. Alright, so here's what's happening. I had 5 lemons, but I usually do that for the larger batch. Right now I'm just breaking up the eggs. So I used 2.5 of the lemons. I zested that, which means I just grated the lovely lemon skin off, which is where all the lemon oils live, and the essence of the lemon is in the skin. So I zested 2.5 of those. I rolled the lemons to make them nice and pliable, and I cut them in half, and I took the juice of I took 3 lemons. I like mine tart, but I don't want my consistency to be off. I only use 3 tablespoons of sugar in this one, and let me tell you why. I usually use half a cup of sugar, and I usually have at least twice this much curd. But I feel like, in keeping with the theme of more love, less sugar, I'm going to just pull back where I can and see if I can, you know, live without the extra sugar. Because, you know, if you put it in there, you can't take it out. But if you leave it out, you can always add it later. So I'm going to just sit with this and see what happens. You just need the sugar to take the tartness out of the lemon. But you don't want all of the tartness gone. It's lemon. Come on, man. Puff her up. So 2 eggs, whole eggs, 3 tablespoons of sugar, the juice of 3 lemons, the zest of 2.5 lemons. 1, 2, 3, 4 ingredients. Yeah. A tiny, tiny bit of salt. And I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla at the end because I think the warmth will balance the brightness, and it'll just, I'm gonna tell you, contrast makes things beautiful. When you put opposite things together, they just do something that's great. Like when you add a little bit of warmth to the brightness and add a little bit of brightness to the warmth, it just takes it to a whole nother dimension. It's great. So yeah, I'm gonna keep heating that and see what we get. Oh, actually, while I heat this, I'm gonna wait until it gets a little bit warmer, and then I'm gonna add I'm gonna say 3 tablespoons of butter. That's gonna add some richness to it and help it get that thick, silky consistency we want. But I didn't add it yet. So butter's coming, and then vanilla. Look, I laid the phone down and it's already starting to thicken. How about that? It don't take long. Once you get it heated, it will thicken. Now, I'm gonna add, basically what you're doing is cooking the eggs and making everything merge. It smells so good. Now, I should mention at this point that my son is highly allergic to citrus. So I'm gonna have to clean the kitchen up real nice before you get here. Yeah, unfit. I might open that back door too. Whew. All right, I'm gonna add my butter and then my vanilla. Okay, when is it ready? When you do this, and it pretty much stands up on its own, and you can run your finger through there. Oh my God, that thing is good. But at this point, if you wanted to, you could add sugar or vanilla or salt, and it'll be just fine. Because it's your prerogative, you know? Now you pour this through a strainer, and it takes out the pulp from the lemon and any little egg bits that may have gone astray in the cooking situation. Sometimes it happens, that's fine. But yeah, strain it out and you're gonna have some silky goodness. Put a piece of parchment right on top of that, touching the curd in the bowl. Cover it up so it doesn't develop that nasty pudding skin, you know what I'm talking about. And then put it in the refrigerator for a little bit. And when it's cooled, it'll be nice and gelled and bomb. Okay? Get in it. Alright, so I am not one to run from an apology. My caramel was too thick. So what I did was I sat it back on some heat and just warmed it up a teeny bit. And then I added some more heavy cream. And I'm going to let those incorporate again until it's, you know, the right color and texture. Just enough heat, and then you can turn it off. You just want the caramel to accept the cream and they become one. Swirl them together. Use your whisk or your spatula and make them, you know, play nice together. But you don't want too much heat. So I already turned mine off. I'm just marrying them right now. And that is more like the consistency I'm going to need to do my drizzles. And it's not too hot. Yeah, this is the drizzle consistency right here. See that? It's going to cool off again and it's going to be perfect. But this right here, yeah. Alright. Let me tell y'all something about these grandkids. I absolutely was not going to make turtle cheesecakes. However, I realized he doesn't really eat anything. Very specific things he likes a lot. Cheese, bread, chocolate. Chocolate with pecans would be amazing. So guess who's making turtles? Me. I'm going to go ahead and put these pecans in this frying pan right here and toast them. Yep. Just right there like that. Nothing else. Just get them in a hot pan. Let them sit there. The oils and the pecans going to do their thing. And over here, I got a little pot going because I'm going to put some heavy cream in it. By the way, look at those peaches. It's a wonderful thing. They just loose enough. See? Not mushy. Relaxed. Very relaxed. Look at that syrup. I ain't need to add cornstarch nowhere. It's a little thicker than I like, but whatever. It'll be fine. Watch. But yeah, I gotta toast these. And then when that's warm, I'm gonna add my bittersweet chocolate chips. You can add whatever kind of chocolate floats your boat. It could be white chocolate if you wanted to. But go on and make your ganache. And how much heavy cream did I add? I'm gonna assume it's about, let me wait, hold on. I just pour it until it get right there. See, right there, that much. How much is that? I don't know, I don't measure much. But then I'm gonna pour the chocolate and stir it at the same time. And when I feel it's enough, it'll be enough. But this is what I'm talking about with cooking. Just make it your own. Play with it. Do what you want. You don't want to waste your money playing with stuff, but at the same time, just make it your own. Okay? Do it. I will say it's about a cup and a half of chocolate chips that's going in there. If you were using a bar, you would cut it up first and then put it in the warm, heavy cream. You see steam? You don't want that skin to come. Just get it right before it gets too hot. But yeah, you should be able to feel it. But for now, just start with 1.5 cups and stir it in there. And once it's melted, if it's not the right color brown for your chocolate, add some more. Just keep going, keep it warm, and you'll get to it. These, you don't want to take your eye off of these too long. When they get cooking on one side, flip them. You don't want them to burn. Let's get it with these pecans, buddy. See that? Look at that little toast on there. They tried to get me. I got them. I got your number. I know what you're doing. We not burning nothing in here. Now this right here, I gotta kick my heat back up because I didn't want my chocolate to burn, so I turned it off. But I'm gonna get it back up to temperature a little bit and get this all incorporated, and it's gonna turn darker as I stir it. And then I feel like it's not thick enough, so I'm gonna be adding some more chocolate. But see how it is with the thing with bacon and everything. You just pull back, ease up, go slow. I tell my kids all the time, turn your heat down, you're going too hot. But yeah, you go slow, you add as you need to, and you can always add more later. Just ease up. Everybody want to be so fast. Not in this kitchen. You got to take your time and do some science and some math and just exercise some patience. Give it a minute. See how there's still little chocolate bits? I'm going to keep stirring it and see what color it ends up. And then if I need to, I'm going to add some more chocolate chips. That's it. I use semi-sweet, bittersweet, whatever. I don't like using milk chocolate too much because the darker chocolates have the most nutrients, and they I'm going to turn these nuts off and give them another little shake. But they don't need much. Alright, sit right there. But yeah, you take your time. Take that off the heat. Look at them. They tried it. No, we're not burning nothing. Not in here. Look at that. I feel the resistance. It's like thick. It's the right color. I turned the heat off again. Just gonna keep stirring until there's no more dark bits left, and it's all incorporated. And then I'm gonna start putting together some of these things, and boom, we got us 1, 2. Jesus, we got too many toppings. 1, 2, 3, 4, and some doggone pecans. Good Lord. Oh, and a streusel. I ain't say I was doing all this, but this is how it is when I'm making orders for the holidays. Sometimes I just make stuff and people want it. Most times I make everything custom because you ordered it and I don't want it to go to waste. But like, yeah, they be coming all at one time. Can I have everything that you ever made this week? Like that. But yeah, here we go. It's a nice pudding like look before you put the pudding in the fridge. Boom. Now, hold up. Some people make their ganache with butter and chocolate, and they melt it on the double boiler. I'm not feeling it. Butter is butter. Now, heavy cream ain't one, too far off from butter, but I think the texture and the amount of fat and grease that the butter would put. Well, I like butter, never mind. But yeah, I do this way because it's less of a problem than just straight pure butter for some people in their diets. And a lot of what I started this business for was because, there were there were some young people, and then there were a lot of old people with some health issues that I feel like we shouldn't be excluded. Not we, I don't have health issues, but I'm a little thick, so I can't just be doing anything. But at the same time, I want to enjoy everything. So anyway, I thought I would come up with an idea. Some recipes that used other recipes as a guideline. Just like we put X, Y, and Z. We put that in this dish. And here's kind of how much you should need of each particular thing so you can see how it goes together. And then I just change it after that. Because once I know what parts go in it and how they relate to each other, it's like mechanics for me. I take stuff apart, put it back together. So, yeah, once I figure out how the things are supposed to work together and what they're supposed to do with each other, then I can change the recipe and make it something totally different. But that works for my people. And again, my singers with their ABCs of health issues, it was a must. And I was like, we go in the store and look at the label and there's so much sodium and so much sugar. You try and kill all of us, and I mean black folks, with those labels. But we love sweets. We love good things. So I dial back on the sugar first. I dial back on the salt anyway, because I ain't never been a fan of just pouring salt on a bunch of stuff. But and that's when I got the idea to create everything myself, like the cheesecake crust. I can't just buy graham crackers or cheesecake crust because I don't know exactly what all those words mean, and I don't know exactly how they did it with the salt and the sugar. And I can read and I can do math and I can tell when it's too much sodium, but I wasn't there when they made it. So I figured I would put my signature on some stuff that was like, from the bottom up. I took all the stuff, all the ingredients, I put them together. I made every single layer of this so I know what's in it and how it went down. So that's how I got my baking, cooking philosophy for this business. All right, first up, peaches. I'm gonna arrange this first, and then I'm gonna put the peaches on top so the syrup can catch the crumble and kind of what do you call it, hold it in place. It's another word. I lose a word every week, I swear. But so the syrup can make that not move too much. That's what it means. Stationary or something. No, that ain't the word. Whatever the word is, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna do that for these. Oh, I said I was gonna do some caramel ones, so let's get that right there. Little bits. How many chocolates and how many lemons? That's it for these. 3, 6, 8. Do that. So we got an even 12 left, and we'll do wonderful things with those. All right, I don't know if you were with me yesterday, but I noticed the ones with the deepest pockets, and those are the ones I'm gonna stack with the things that take up the most space, like these turtles. They need a little groove to get into, but the flatter ones can hold the lemon because it's thick and it won't roll off. Oh, and by the way, I was supposed to make a strawberry topping, but there was not a strawberry to be had when I was ordering my stuff. So scratch that. I need my hands, hold up. All right, folks, I did a little bit of arranging. I'm gonna show you in a minute, but we're gonna make our final topping, which is the most familiar topping, I believe, that you've ever seen in your life. What could we possibly need now, you say? Whipped cream. What do you put in whipped cream? Well, you start with heavy cream. Heavy whipping cream. That's what it's for. And then, well, it's for a million things when you're baking. I swear it's for everything. I'm going to put, I swear I always got leftovers, but you can never be mad at having whipped cream in the refrigerator. All I got to do is take a fork and, loosen that thing back up and add it to any ice cream. And I got a couple of leftover peaches, so might be some other dessert situations going on later this week. But, I added about a cup of heavy cream. Hold on, let's turn it around. I'm going to get you, hit it with some cinnamon, because I want it to be, a spiced whipped cream. A nice color would be nice. Hit it with some vanilla. How much? A splash. I need some powdered sugar, but I also need one more thing, and I'm going to explain. So, use this to pull the sugar out. I'm going to put that much, a third of a cup, or maybe a little less than a third. And then I'm going to put some cornstarch. Now, why cornstarch? Because that's how you stabilize it. What does that mean? That's how you keep the whipped cream from melting as soon as you leave the refrigerator. You stabilize it. But powdered sugar, if you didn't know, is sugar that's been blended with cornstarch. That's why it's powdery and it don't look right when you try to run out of sugar and put it in your tea. It's sugar, but they add cornstarch and they blend it together to make it that powdery consistency. So I already had a little bit of cornstarch going on with the sugar, but I need more to help the whipped cream just not melt as soon as it's away from chill, and it'll last for hours. That's how they keep those strawberry shortcakes sitting on that table for that birthday party all day without melting down the table. I like to stir it around a little bit on a low setting, and then scrape my sides. Get everything in there, and then hit it full blast, number 10, until you see it thicken and start to get stiff. And you want to just keep going and check it when you see it get stiff. Alright, it's a little bit loose around those sides, but I don't want it to get over whipped. So I'm going to take it and check to see how loopy-loosey this is. And then I'm going to take my hand and see if I can mix in the loosey parts and make it perfect. But I need a couple more seconds on this because it's still a little too loose. Now you see how those lines are really defined in there every time this goes through? It just leaves an imprint because it's, look at that. There you go. It won't drip. It's right there. If you go any further, you're going to have a little grainy whipped cream, and you can still come back from that. Just add a tiny bit of heavy cream if you overdo it a little bit and it gets like, grainy, rocky, like pebbles or whatever. If it goes too much, add a little heavy cream, stir it in with a fork or this whisk attachment, and it'll loosen back up, and it be just beautiful. I can't never leave well enough alone. I had to stir this around, make sure the sides get all the love too. And look at there. It's all right. Let's go. Here's everybody after about 30-40 minutes in the refrigerator. I decided, I went back and said, well, what's a caramel crunch without some chocolate? So now we got a little cocoa caramel crunch and some turtle situations. And there's these peach guys. The glue. So the syrup helps to become like a glue for the crumble underneath it. Because as it sits there, the peach is going to help with a little moisture into that crunchy crumble. And it's going to be like textural bliss. Oh yeah, I did this because I had enough lemon curd for maybe 7 cupcakes, but I got 6. So I just, you know, amped them up. And here we go. And we're going to whip cream. And it's going to be great. Ooh, everybody's so beautiful. Look at them. Just so nice. They look loved. I'm going to move that peach. I don't like how it's hanging off of there like that.
Motion detected at the backyard.
I mean, this is how it should be, right? Get out of here. I got 2 more. All right, everybody got some love. Now we're going to give them a little sparkle. Because I love sparkle. Look at my shirt. I sparkle. Get over it. And there you go. Boom. Bang, bang. That there is dessert. We did it. We did it. Yeah. What you think? Would you eat these? What about that peach one? Would you eat that? I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to eat one of each before the next 24 hours is up. I'm not really into desserts for myself, but when I make them, if I'm going to grab one, I'm going to grab the lemon first. Chocolate is one of my favorite things, but I mean, how often do I make a lemon something? So grab the lemon, I'm going to grab a chocolate, and just for the sake of knowing exactly what it was like today, I'm going to have a peach. And there you go.